Hey guys, so today I want to tell you about a book that I just got finished reading. I went to Barnes and Noble a couple months back, just on a little trip, and going through the African American section of the store, I actually realized that I've actually read most of those books. So I was looking for something new, something a little bit different to read. And so I actually picked up this book about love and relationships in the Black community called Where Did Our Love Go? And this book is really good. It kind of fell into my lap, if you will say, at the perfect time, because I'm in my mid-20s, so most people around my age are starting to settle down or getting to that point in their lives where they're trying to get everything in order so that they can begin settling down, thinking about being a husband or a wife and having children and all that kind of stuff, basically getting their lives in order and planning for the future. So of course, just like any other thing that you would do, you want to know about marriage before you actually take that step. You want to learn about it and what makes a good marriage and what makes a good household. And so this book, I think, really it kind of just scratches the surface with a lot of things, but at least it'll get the dialogue going, if not with your partner or somebody that you're talking to, just within yourself, to see if you're ready for marriage, if that's a step that you want to take, and if you're ready to kind of go down that path, no matter what age you are, but especially for those who are my age, in mid-20s, late 20s, when we're thinking about getting married. And we know those statistics out there about black marriages. A huge majority, over 40% of black men and over 40% of black women, have never been married. And it's like, why not? Why are we not getting married? Why are we not tying the knot? Why are we not settling down with each other and making that commitment that society says that we're supposed to be making? So let me tell you a little bit about the book. I got my notes over here just so that we can see what's going on. So the book deals with a variety of different issues, such as age difference, like older men, younger women. It deals with infidelity, cheating, and that's something that unfortunately a large majority of people that have been in monogamous relationships have had to deal with. Physical and emotional abuse, and that's just not from man to woman, like a man abusing a woman. There's actually an article in here about a man who was abused by his wife. So that was a really good article, something that we don't really talk about much in the community, but it does happen. And also about outside children outside of the marriage, or outside of a relationship, and the complications that poses. It also deals with dating outside the race. That's a little taboo. Black men dating white women, or vice versa, white women, and all that kind of stuff. So the book is actually divided into 3 sections. It's divided into single, married, and divorced. Now the single part deals with people that, of course, are single. They are looking for relationships or not looking for relationships. They're just explaining what it is to be single in the African American community. The married part deals with marriages and what they do to sustain their marriages, why they got married, and why they think their marriages will last, keys that they kind of give us on sustaining a successful relationship. And that section was actually really good because it kind of digs deeper into why African Americans are not getting married and what it takes to make our marriages work as black people. And the divorce section actually is my favorite part of the whole book because it kind of teaches you how to move on. Like, you go through a divorce after you were supposed to dedicate your entire life to one person, and now you gotta kind of redo your whole life and relearn yourself and figure out if you want to stay the same person that you were in the relationship, if you want to keep those personality traits, or whether you want to go back to being the person that you were when you were single. And that's something that if you've ever been in a relationship, you know how that goes. I don't want to say you lose yourself in relationships, but you kind of have to make compromises and sacrifices when you're in a relationship with somebody. And it comes a point when the relationship ends when you have to decide whether you want to stay that person. So the divorce section actually kind of gripped me, and it's the last section, because I'm like, how do these people do it? How do you go from being married for 15, 16 years and then all of a sudden you're single? Like, it's crazy to me. Anyway, so the tips that they gave for a good lasting marriage was love, communication, trust, and determination. Love, communication, trust, determination. Love to me in a marriage is kind of like ketchup on the hot dog. You don't really need it to make the hot dog taste good. Love is important, but at the same time, love is not enough. There's actually a article in here that explains that love is not enough to hold a marriage together. I think the most important part of a marriage is trust and determination. So you have to trust your partner, not just as far as fidelity goes. I mean, that's important. What I'm saying is that you just have to be able to depend on your partner. You have to know that when you go to sleep at night, you're laying next to somebody that has your back, that depends on you and you depend on them, and that y'all in this together. And also determination, because we all know when it comes to a point in the relationship when you're just like, either I'm going to stay here and ride this out, or I'm going to just leave. And it takes that determination to kind of get through with the hard times. You have to be willing to push through all the crap that you're going to go through in a relationship. And like I said, it's not just cheating. That's what everybody kind of like, oh, he cheated, so I left him. But there's so many different things that can make a marriage crumble. Money issues, lying, dishonesty, like all different kind of stuff that can tear a marriage apart. So trust and determination, I feel like, are the two important factors that they mentioned in the book. The book also addresses the alpha woman. We all know an alpha woman. The woman that feels like she gonna be the cat, the dog, the fish, the bird, everybody in the relationship. And she don't need no man. And if she get a man, she's not gonna give him room to be a man. But sometimes you gotta step aside and just let him do what a man does. And I'm not saying that the definition of a man is the same for everybody, because if you do have a strong dominant woman, sometimes you may need a man who's going to pick up those feminine quote-unquote duties in a relationship, like washing the dishes, taking care of the children, and all that kind of stuff. It just depends on what works in your relationship. But also, no matter what your definition of a man is, you have to leave your man room to be a man. You can't try to be everybody in the relationship, because it's not going to work, and you're going to develop that sense of you really don't need the relationship. Because if you're doing everything in the relationship, what do you really need this man for? So there was actually an article on that, and I thought that was very interesting as well. But the most intriguing chapter to me was actually chapter 6 in the divorce section, and it's entitled "The Problem with Marriage." Let me see who wrote it. Hold on, I'm coming. It was written by Danielle Belton, and she kind of broke it down and made me feel like I'm not crazy, because she was saying things and explaining marriage the way that I kind of always explain it to people, and nobody wants to hear what I'm saying. She kind of explains that the notion of marriage today is kind of outdated. She calls it the forever and ever amen marriage, where you kind of, when you're young, you go, you get married, and then you're with that person for the rest of your life. But can you really say that you want to be with the same person for your entire life? I don't really know about that. forever is a very, very long time. And the solution that she gives for that is actually serial monogamy, which is you date somebody for as long as the relationship is valid, and then once the relationship expires or becomes no longer needed, then you leave that person behind and you move on and you date somebody else. Now, it's kind of different from when you're in a relationship and you cheat. She's not talking about cheating. Like, you're in a monogamous relationship, you remain with that person, and then you move on and you be in another monogamous relationship with someone else. And I think that's a really good idea, because the person that you are when you're 20 is not the same person that you are when you're 41 or even 51 or 61. You change, and unless your partner changes with you, it kind of becomes an issue, because you're gonna be dating somebody that doesn't really get you anymore. So I think serial monogamy and what she addresses in that chapter is just amazing. And like I said, it made me feel like I wasn't crazy. Like, so many people are like, oh, marriage is wonderful when you're in love, but look at how many marriages fall apart. Look how many marriages dissolve. Look how many marriages face problems that they just can't overcome. And we live in a society where divorce is kind of not thought of as a bad thing anymore. And I'm not saying divorce is a bad thing, but it's kind of like, what's the point of glorifying marriage and the kind of aspiring toward marriage for your whole entire life, and then you get married and then you get a divorce and nobody thinks it's a big deal? Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. If I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna be married forever, or until I feel like the marriage is no more. And if I do get a divorce, I'm not doing it again. It's done. It's done. It's over. No more marriage for me. So, like I said, I think this book is a great book for the 20-somethings out there looking to get a better understanding of marriage before they kind of jump in and think of marriage as this perfect cure-all for everything, or jump into a relationship or a marriage with somebody that they're really not supposed to be with. There actually was a quote in the book. Where is it? Oh, right here. It was on page 115. Sometimes it's better to be alone than with a person that you're not supposed to be with. And that line spoke volumes to me, because I'm like, I've done that before. We've all been there, been in the crappy relationship that we're not supposed to be in, and we're just kind of there because we don't want to be lonely. And maybe being lonely is what you need to figure out what you really want and where you really want to be. And then when you find that person that makes you happy, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. And you're going to think, why did I waste all that time in that crappy relationship when I could have been so happy right here? So that spoke volumes to me. I think everybody should read this book. Where Did Our Love Go? It's an anthology. It's not a storybook. So it's just a collection of essays by various different celebrities and musicians and athletes. The only critique I have about this book is that most of the African American community does not make the kind of money that the people make in this book. They make a lot of money. So I feel like the book is targeted to the masses and trying to figure out why the masses of African American people, the ones on the bottom who are lower class, lower middle class, or even middle class, are not getting married the way that we were before. And it kind of leaves us out. It deals with marriage and as far as money and that kind of stuff, but I want to know how the little people are viewing marriage, because we all know people that have been married and now they can't find their husbands, or their husbands cheated on them and beat them and all kinds of stuff, and they still choose to marry him. So I want to know what those people are thinking about marriage and what they think about divorce and that kind of stuff. I think that would be really interesting. So, like I said, I think everybody should read this book. It's a must read. We need to figure out, not saying that marriage is so important that we need to kind of patch up marriage and make it what it used to be in the 50s and the 60s, but just figure out why black relationships are crumbling and why songs like Chris Brown's "These Hoes Ain't Loyal" are so popular. Like, why is it glorified to be hopping from woman to woman and man to man and still be kind of expecting at the end of all that to have a successful monogamous relationship? Like, you can't teach a dog a trick if you've never shown him what the trick is supposed to be. Meaning that you can't expect to have a successful monogamous relationship if you've never seen one or never been in one or never experienced one in your entire life. So what are we really teaching our daughters? What is my son going to learn about being monogamous and being a husband watching this crap on TV and all that kind of stuff? So that's what I have to say about that. The next book I'm going to read is actually going to be a classic, The Catcher in the Rye. I've read this book twice before, but I got a brand new copy, so I'm going to read it again. I came across it in this article that I was reading online. This guy was talking about how he reads it once a year and every time he gets something different out of it. So I want to see if I get something different from the last couple times that I've read this book. So once I finish this, then I'll let you guys know how I liked it, my thoughts, my critiques, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely go out and get this book. Where Did Our Love Go? Barnes & Noble, not expensive at all. They also have it on Nook and Kindle if you're into that, but I like to turn the pages. So I'll see you guys soon. Oh, I'll have an update because I'm going to get my hair retwisted soon because it's looking crazy underneath this thing. So I'll see you guys later. Be safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.